Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back on Rfactor 2 with another bit of an experiment video with the F1 2019 cars. Now a couple of weeks back, some of you guys may remember obviously that we took Formula 1 to the Formula E MONACO EP1, obviously a very interesting is probably the best way to describe it, experiment on the channel. Obviously if you missed out that video and you want to see some carnage, definitely go back and check that one out. If you click at the top right hand side of your screens, there will be a link to that video now. But yeah, I decided, you know, moving on from that, the Monaco Grand Prix actually on this weekend, that we would head once again back to Monaco. This time we would head back to Monaco in our time machines and head onto Rfactor 2's 1960s layout of the track. Now I know at the time of uploading this, TMX actually made a video, not quite the same sort of thing. Obviously he was driving a classic car around here as well, but yeah, I sort of recorded this a few days back. Almost, in all honesty, had sort of forgot about it as well. So obviously sort of looked back and thought, actually, there's still quite a bit of funny footage from this video that I'm sure some of you guys would still be interested in watching. Obviously, if you guys are new around here, make sure you get yourself subscribed. However, though, obviously, if you're expecting clean, good racing, you're definitely at the wrong place for this video. You know, it's a bit more of an experiment, a bit more of a jokey video. These cars as well aren't designed to be doing this. You know, they are online modded cars. They're not really designed for AI racing, things like that. So, you know, the mod is absolutely incredible still. I would highly recommend checking it out, even if you just want to run some hot laps. But yeah, obviously, it adds still a little bit to the fun side of things, but probably just a bit of a quick disclaimer in there. But anyway, then moving on to the start of this race, you can see coming up towards the top of the hill, and someone has instantly just been sent to Narnia. I'm not too sure what has gone on there. I think they've clipped the curb on the inside, and well, as I'm sure you guys would have just seen, so someone has just absolutely been sent into orbit off the start of this race. You certainly don't get that very often in the Monaco Grand Prix, at least nowadays as well. And this was actually my very first run with these cars around here, so you get the proper Monaco pile-up as well. The AI, not really too much of a fan of that. There was a couple of hay bales bringing that down the hill as well with me for, you know, extra measures as well. And yeah, overall not too bad a start. You know, we have survived. Once again, obviously damage is just turned off for these videos. You know, there's no point trying to run it with damage. It is absolute death. And now we come down to my favourite part of the circuit, but not this time around though. There's been yet another pile up here. Yet more hay bales are absolutely all over the place once again there, and that's not exactly the ideal way to start the Monaco Grand Prix. Someone's just sent a hay bale up towards turn 1 once again there. But yeah, certainly an interesting start to the Monaco Grand Prix there. We get someone up the inside. We try and have a look back at the inside there. This was probably the only corner I was really struggling around this circuit. Obviously, the modern day Formula 1 car, not the best on a really tight turning circle there. And sadly, yeah, that final corner would play a little bit of havoc, personally, for me throughout the course of this race. But up towards the top of the hill once again there, and once again, someone has, well, just gone completely over the top of the crest there. I think what's happened is they've clipped the curb on the inside and just absolutely, well, just gone skyward there. My geography isn't the best in the world, but I think, to be honest, if my calculations are correct, they've probably ended up in Africa there. I think they've just launched off and continued going off there. So yeah, certainly not ideal, but hey, you know, if we end up with a Moroccan Grand Prix in a couple of years' time, perhaps he's, you know, transporting the car there ready for the next Grand Prix out as we come through the tunnel once again here. And it's so weird to obviously see how much the Monaco Grand Prix has almost changed in some ways, but not in others as well. We get a nice bit of a head-on collision with someone misjudging the very fast chicane there. But yeah, it's obviously distinctively Monaco still, but there's, yeah, a lot of things that have obviously changed about this track as well. And I must just say, you know, this mod is absolutely fantastic. Once again, though, coming down to my favourite part of the circuit this time round, though, that's not been what we intended to do there. We've been absolutely sent literally to Narnia there. You know, I think we have all seen twice back in the 50s. Someone ended up in the harbour there, and well, we've made it a third here in the F1 2019 cars. Let's have a look actually what did go wrong there. We come down into the chicane, and I think we just don't quite get the car rotated in. You can see there a little bit of a kicker at the rear of the car there. Just clip the wall, and well, just look at that. We go cartwheeling into the ocean there. Not exactly ideal, but we've done one better than we did at the Monaco EP1, and we have successfully made it into the ocean there as well, which sadly, yeah, would require a restart here. So we're already back on the grid. P20 of 20. Ready for the second go here at the 1960s Monaco Grand Prix there, and it's lights out and away we go once more here. Trying to get a bit of a decent start in towards come on. Obviously, it doesn't really matter. The AI all end up basically retiring over the course of the race. I don't think in any of the attempts I did the AI managed to survive through as we come up towards the top of the hill there, and everyone just trying to go a bit slowly down. Unfortunately, we get collected. A huge pile-up just in front of me. We ended up getting sent almost down into, I don't know if that's a driveway or an escape road or what, but there's people probably a bit closer to the track than they should be there, but we do get going once again here as we come up towards the top of the hill, and the car is just gonna pop itself into reverse. Not too sure what that is all about either there, so we're gonna have to go for another bit of a spin back around so we can be pointing the right direction. Now hopefully we can start our Monaco Grand Prix now. A bit of a way into our opening lap, but yeah, hopefully this time around we can get a bit of a better showing here. But yeah, I must admit, I'm a really big fan of this classic Monaco Grand Prix. You know, if you've got Rfactor 2, definitely have a look around this track. You know, it's really cool. It's obviously not a mod, it's officially done by Rfactor, by Studio 397, I think. At this point, the company is owned by there, and yeah, I would highly recommend giving it a go, because it is just an experience there as someone else is parked on the chicane. Not really too sure how on earth they've managed that one, but saying that, we ended up cartwheeling into the sea, so anything can happen around this racetrack. But yeah, obviously the first half of the lap is almost untouched, you know, basically in, well, what, 90 years now? So ridiculous, obviously, since the Monaco Grand Prix and Formula 1 officially only started in, obviously, the 50s, but, you know, this track's been raced on, I think, since, what, the 1920s, if I'm not mistaken, as well. You know, the first half of the lap, yeah, obviously, turn 1, Sandavot is very different nowadays, you know, obviously, but it's still distinctively Sandavot there, as we have someone, you know, crashing over the circuit. You know, the first half all the way through Casino Square, you know, still very distinctively Monaco through Higher Mirabeau, the hairpin and Lower Mirabeau, you know, everything is still just exactly the same. You know, it is so crazy to see so untouched this place really is here. And this is where it starts to get a little bit different. Obviously, I'm pretty certain that bridge has obviously been highly remodeled there. I'm adamant as well, you come sort of a lot further out of Portier, and then obviously the tunnel is, yeah, a very different experience as well. Obviously, really not much of a tunnel on the whole there, just through, you know, the kink towards the end of what the tunnel is nowadays. And then obviously the chicane, a very different experience there, as we've got someone on their roof as well. Obviously at to back, this is where, you know, the second half of the track, very different. This is now obviously the pit lane. Nowadays they obviously you miss out the swimming pool chicane, you know, and also places like La Rascasse. Obviously this is still known as Anthony Nogues, although obviously still in a very different position to where it is nowadays as well. You know, that is a full lap of the Monaco Grand Prix from 70 or 60 years ago, even, I should say. Now, obviously, a very different experience. I'm not actually too sure. I really do quite like this track, but in sort of a weird way. And I don't know if this is just Rfactor's version, or whether I'm just used to the F1 versions, or whether it is just a case of there's very little Armco / barriers anywhere around this place. It does feel wider as a racetrack. Although obviously Rfactor is a much harder game than F1, because, you know, it's a proper simulator, and F1 is sort of more of an arcade style game, because, you know, that's what Codemasters wanted for it. The track itself, to me at least, genuinely feels a bit easier on this game, and I think obviously it is just that case of it being a bit wider there, but yeah, it's, I don't know whether it's more enjoyable. I think they're two very different circuits, but the same in sort of a weird roundabout way as well. Now, I really do love racing around this circuit, especially the second half of the lap, you know, going through the chicane when you absolutely nail it is so satisfying here. And as we skip on towards the end of this race there, sadly, you know, we wouldn't get as much action with the AI this time as well. Sadly, they were just struggling to complete a couple of laps, but, you know, with a couple of laps to go, we were starting to get a little bit of consistency in as well around this place. And yeah, really quite a surreal and enjoyable little experiment. Once again, you know, I really want to try and get into sort of more of these experiment videos, you know, mixing, you know, modern cars with classic tracks, you know, modern cars with different series, all things like that, you know, weird and wonderful stuff. Just something a little bit different to be trying out on the channel as well. And I've got plenty of ideas for more and more of these, you know, sort of combinations that I really love to be doing. So obviously, if you guys enjoy this sort of thing, make sure you do get yourself subscribed as well for more of that. But yeah, the Monaco Grand Prix both layouts, you know, not a particularly brilliant racetrack, but you can see why, you know, it still holds a special place in Formula 1 there. As that time around, yeah, we really were starting to get onto the limit as we get through the chicane there, you know, for me at least. My pace still probably not all that special, but, you know, I was happy, you know, with the pace I was running. You know, I think we were running sort of 6s. If I nailed a lap, I could have probably got, you know, sort of a low 5, I reckon, potentially, you know, if we, you know, really got it spot on. And I think, you know, top guys are probably looking at sort of around the 102s, 103s, I would have thought, because, you know, they're just that much quicker than myself on Rfactor, as well as, you know, things like setups, I'm sure, would make a huge difference around this place as well. As we come onto the final lap, can we end on a bit of a height? No, sadly we can't, there, as we go for a nice spin down in towards Mirabah there, out of Casino Square. And in that corner, it almost felt smoother than it does on the F1 games, but I'm not 100% sure whether that is just me or what. You know, I haven't driven around Monaco or the F1 games in a good couple of weeks. Now we try and do a bit of drifting as well here around the Monaco Grand Prix. So, you know, give the fans something to be smiling about as well. And sadly, you know, my drifting is certainly not up to scratch as well at the end of the day. They're out through Portier once more there and in towards, like I've kept saying, my favourite part of this circuit one final time. Hopefully this time around we don't end up in the sea, because I was getting a little bit worried there. Yeah, once again, you just have to run so close wall to wall there. It's so satisfying when you do get it right there. Out in towards the final couple of corners, so I think we're going to go for a bit of an exploration as well here just to finish this off. But yeah, certainly interesting to see, you know, how much Monaco has changed over the course of the time. This is, you know, obviously where all the cars are stored, and obviously in the pit lane as well. They're certainly quite different to nowadays, I think it's safe to say, but still just so weird how it's, you know, distinctively Monaco nonetheless there. But yeah, I think that'll do us then for this video. We will come now down over the finish line there, do a couple of pirouettes for extra style points there at the end of the day. But yeah, this was a really exciting sort of different video that I hopefully you guys have enjoyed as well. You know, like I said, I've got plenty more sort of these experiment videos that I want to be doing over the coming weeks and months as well for you guys. So yeah, hopefully you do get yourself subscribed as well for more weird and wonderful F1 content on the channel. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. Like I said, get yourself subscribed if you're new around here. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know sort of if there's any experiments you'd like me to do, you know, on sort of Rfactor or anything, you know, F1, etc. Of course, you know, plenty of modding capabilities as well out there. But yeah, that'll do us for this video, and hopefully I will see you guys next time for another video.